Inquiries are being held with regard to more persons involved in the conspiracy to assassinate the president. In a lengthy article in today's Daily Mirror newspaper, media personality DBS Jayaraj has given a detailed report on several incidents related to the conspiracy. If Fonseca triumphed, plans were mooted to penalize the president, while the defense secretary was to be executed at the Goldface Green and to hang Basil Rajapaksa. The article revealed that Sarath Fonseca had reserved many rooms at the Cinnamon Lakeside Hotel and at the Taj Samudra Hotel. The Cinnamon Lakeside Hotel was selected to take lodging during that particular night. 70 rooms were reserved and occupied. The hotel's security manager was a former army major, a Fonseca loyalist. He had made the entire security camera network of the hotel defunct, while the computers and laptop equipment were located at other places. The morale was high as Fonseca thought he was the winner. After moving into the hotel, he was happy about the environment that he told the associates it was going to be his headquarters. Events, however, were overtaking. Doubts have arisen in the defense sectors on two pre-incidents. 25 persons, including army deserters, were arrested at Gokarala. They had stated that they were awaiting orders from a retired colonel. Also, 70 retired army officers were taken into custody along with a JVP parliamentarian. Thereafter, they were released during the election day. As a result, security was beefed up in the environs of the hotel on election night. There was widespread panic in the ranks of the Fonseca camp. If the idea was to shock and awe, it had succeeded. Fonseca seemed visibly shaken while his daughters sent out frantic SOS-type appeals via SMS. However, the Daily Mirror journalist pointed out that there was no sign of Fonseca supporters taking to the streets. Military personnel who had violated discipline and tied up with Fonseca were asked to surrender. Finally, the former army chief and his media secretary were also arrested. A suspected retired major general has disappeared. Another retired colonel is due to be grilled. In his article, the journalist said the government must firmly adhere to the principles of natural justice. It should also be taken into account that justice should not only be meted out but appear to have been done. Attorney at Law Gomin Dayasiri has expressed concern over the statement made by Sarath Fonseca to the BBC that he is prepared to go before the International Tribunal and give facts about war crimes in Sri Lanka. Expressing views to Prime TV, he said,
"It's indeed extremely tragic. Mr. Sarath Fonseca, after having been defeated at the election, has decided to target the Commander-in-Chief, namely President Rajapaksa and Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, because if you look at international law, wherever war crimes have been alleged, the person who stands accused is the Commander-in-Chief, namely the President of a country. So it is obvious that subsequent to his defeat, Mr. Sarath Fonseca has decided to target his opponent at the election in this manner. Actually, Sri Lanka has so far never had any accusation made against it for any war crimes. But now, for the first time, it appears that Sarath Fonseca is prepared to state facts which he never disclosed at the time he was the commander of the forces. So undoubtedly the value of such evidence would be of very little relevance because of the delay and the fact that he is making these accusations subsequent to his defeat, of challenging the opponent and attempting to bring the opponent into discredit, and also the fact that he has made many inconsistent statements of clearing the forces of any war crimes while he was in service.
A branch of an international bank opens in Jaffna. The HSBC branch will strengthen financial ties with the rest of the country and the world as the area recovers from a debilitating war. The HSBC branch was opened with the participation of Central Bank Governor Ajit Nivard Cabral and British High Commissioner Peter Hayes. It is the first branch to be opened by a foreign-owned bank. Mr. Cabral made a special appeal to the Sri Lankan Tamil diaspora to play an active role and become partners in the development process of the North. HSBC Sri Lanka Chief Nick Nicolaou said they hope to connect Sri Lanka's diaspora living in the UK and Canada so that they can handle both sides, remittances and investment. After the opening, the central bank chief visited the Jaffna market and exchanged views with the traders. He also seized the opportunity to pay a courtesy call on the Bishop of Jaffna, the Right Reverend Thomas Soundaranayagam, at the Bishop's house in Jaffna. They had a cordial meeting. Mr. Cabral presented a commemorative coin to the Bishop. There is enormous opportunity to develop trade and investment with Sri Lanka as there is absolutely safe conditions and the government's proactive policies for investors in Sri Lanka. This observation has been made by President of the Federation of Andhra Pradesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, K. Harishchandra Prasad. He recently led a 21-member business delegation to Sri Lanka. He said that there are a large number of areas including IT, agriculture, small and medium-scale industry sectors wherein they can invest. The delegation, which returned to Hyderabad after a 4-day visit, met Prime Minister Ratnasiri Wickramanayake and appraised him about the business opportunities in India in general and Andhra Pradesh in particular. Welcoming the Indian delegation, Kosala Wickramanayake, President of the Federation of Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Sri Lanka, said, "This is the time that the Sri Lankan economy was opening up after 30 years of war." A program has been crafted to look after the disabled soldiers throughout their lifetime. Army Commander Lieutenant General Jagat Jayasuriya also said that priority was being given to the welfare of the war heroes. The Army Chief was speaking during a visit to the Eastern Province. It was his first since he assumed office as the Army Commander. A Guard of Honor was accorded to him at the 234th Brigade Headquarters in Kalladi. He perused the security situation prevailing in the eastern region. Lieutenant General Jayasuriya told senior officers and soldiers that attention has been drawn to the establishment of welfare centers for war heroes at the provincial level. You're watching Prime News, and still here at home, Bristol Street, which links Petta and the Fort area, is now reopened for the public. The road has been reopened after being closed for more than 20 years. The street had previously been kept closed due to security reasons. The government decided to reopen the road owing to the peaceful environment prevailing in the country following the elimination of terrorism. Traders and the passengers expressed their gratitude to the President and the government for reopening the road. The number of tourists visiting the country has risen sharply with a recovery in traditional Western European markets and more visitors from newer South Asian markets after the end of the war.
So here we stand in our secret place, where the sound of the crowd is so far
Latest
away.
data from the Government Tourism Authority showed arrivals rose 31.9% to 50,757 last month, albeit from a low base the year before. The number of visitors has been on the rise since the end of hostilities, and hotels have been reporting high occupancy in the current winter season, with listed hotel companies also reporting profits after years of losses. Arrivals from Western Europe, the traditional tourist generating market, rose 36.3% to 21,230 in January 2010 from a year ago. The number of visitors from the UK went up 24.6% to 8,225, those from France up 25.9% to 2,272, and from Germany up 54.1% to 4,470. Arrivals from South Asia, a relatively newer tourist-generating market for the island, were up 44.3% to 12,524 in January from a year earlier. The numbers were boosted by a surge in visitors from India, up 73.5% to 9,141, following promotions in the subcontinent by the Sri Lankan tourism authorities.